Hello and namaste. My name is Dana. Welcome to the Art of Yoga Project. I'm so happy that you're practicing with us today. Today our theme is advice, life advice. And before we get into that, I wanted us to start out with a warm-up. And we're going to do just a 10 count shakeout on each hand. And so we'll start with the right hand and we'll count down, and you can count down with me as well. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do both. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then let's inhale, the arms up overhead. And exhale as we bring the hands down across our body. We'll do two more of those. Inhaling the arms up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, gathering the energy of the universe. And exhaling and smoothing out our energy. And then let's come to a comfortable seated position, allowing the hands to rest. And the eyes can be closed, or you can gaze gently at the ground. And taking a moment just to check in with yourself. Noticing your physical, mental, and emotional body. Noticing what's arising and what you're feeling in this moment. Just a quick check-in. How are you feeling? We're not trying to change anything. The power is in understanding and noticing how you're feeling in this moment, and respecting yourself and honoring those feelings. Now we're going to move into our asana practice, our physical practice. Today's practice is a slow moving practice. We're going to hold the poses for several minutes. And I said that this was about life advice. And so if I think about all of the advice I've had in my life, I've had some really good advice and some really bad advice. And so the advice I want to share with you from me is to slow down. Sometimes we move so quickly through life. So this practice is about slowing down. So our first posture is child's pose. The knees can be wide and the hips can come back to the heels. And if you have a pillow, you can have a pillow and lay on that. If you want to pause and grab a pillow, you can grab a pillow. And allowing the torso to come down and resting the hands on the forehead. If you have a pillow, you can bring the pillow into the chest and rest the torso on the pillow. And then taking a moment to notice the inhalation and the exhalation. Like I said, we're going to be in each posture for 1 to 2 minutes so that we can explore each posture in its entirety. So here, just noticing the breath, maybe allowing the breath to be a count or two longer on the exhalation than the inhalation, like a rectangle. Inhaling on the short side of the rectangle for a count of 2 or 3, and exhaling the width of the rectangle for a count of 3 to 5. Just feeling the breath expand and contract the rib cage. anchoring yourself to this moment on the mat. You may have the urge to get up and move. I invite you just to explore what it feels to move slowly and focusing on the breath. Knowing there's a lot of time out there. Allowing your body to soften. I'm going to roll up, move the pillow aside, and then I'm going to bring the right knee forward and the left leg back for pigeon posture. And the knee is pointing towards the right side of the mat. Doesn't have to be you don't have to be too concerned about where it's facing, as long as there's no painful sensation. We'll just notice the sensation here. You can bring your hands to fist. And this is Pigeon Pose. We want to continue with our awareness of the breath, but also bring awareness to the sensation of the body. And perhaps in this pose, noticing the sensation of the hips. You can gaze down at the ground. And if you like, you can stay upright into a bit of a back bend, or if you have a pillow, you can bring the pillow down, and then you can bring the arms down. You come into a bit of a forward fold here. Allowing the hips to open, noticing the sensation in the body, noticing the sensation in the left toe, and the top of the left leg. Slowing down can serve us in so many ways. We can get in touch with the sensation of our body. We can also notice the sensation in our belly, and perhaps honor that sensation of the belly. We talk about the belly brain, the wisdom of the belly brain. And now just noticing the sensation of the body. You may notice your thoughts and emotions as well. And maybe, how long are we going to hold this posture? I feel this in my thigh. It's starting to burn. And just be aware of those thoughts. And evaluate how accurate it is. And determine whether or not you should stay in the posture or back out of the posture. Now we'll help ourselves up, putting the weight into the hands, allowing that right knee to come back. We may stretch it out behind us and move it around just a little bit. We're going to allow the opposite knee to come forward. The left knee will come forward, and then we'll allow our hips to sit down. Sit upright in a back bend for a moment. And just noticing the sensation here. Noticing the stretch in the hips, the thigh, and the back and the belly. Staying here or lowering down. And if you don't have a pillow, just bringing the hands down to the ground. Sometimes I like to rest my forehead on my thumbs. And noticing the sensations on this hip. Does it feel the same or different as the other side? Did one feel better? One feel more challenging? And perhaps noticing the sensations of the right toe and the top of the right leg against the ground. Slowing down and noticing. They say with slowing down and smelling the roses. Slowing down and noticing your body. And then once again, we'll use our hands to help ourselves up. And we'll bring that left leg back. We may need to stretch that out a little bit. Move it around. And then bring the knee down, and we'll move our hips back into a bit of a child's pose. We're not here as long, but just taking a breath here and notice both sides of the body. And then we're going to roll up to seated. We're going to come into a seated position. We're going to have our right leg extended in front of us, and our left leg is going to come across. We're going to move into a cow face posture. See how you feel here. If this is easy for you and your knee feels okay, you may want to explore bringing that underneath leg and tucking that back towards the opposite hip. So we're working our knees to be in a straight line, in our legs, feet being next to the hips, and then sitting upright. There's an arm motion to this posture that we're not going to do today. Noticing how you feel here. Today we're going to bring our fingers, and we're going to find the area right in between our eyebrows. We're just going to massage the eyebrows, gently rubbing the eyebrows out and coming around to the temples. And rubbing the temples. We'll do that a few more times. Rubbing the eyebrows. We have a lot of acupressure points in our face. And then bringing the hands on the forehead and just again massaging the forehead down to the temple and massaging. A couple more times, just feeling the soft sensation, allowing the face muscles to soften. Now here, this will keep the wrinkles away. You may be too young to worry about wrinkles with all of your beautiful skin, but just know that this is a way of softening the muscles. You can even bring the fingers a little bit back along the head. Do a little bit of a finger massage as we come up the head. And then bringing the arms down and taking a breath. And then knowing which leg is on top. For me, it's my left leg. So I'm going to lean back, and I'm going to extend both legs in front of me. I'm going to shake the legs off a little bit. Taking a breath. Then I am going to leave the left leg extended, and I'm going to bring the right leg in. So my right leg is on top now, and I'm going to notice how I feel here. Noticing the sensation of the knee and the hip. And this may be your posture today. So I encourage you to stay here. If you want to try and bring the other leg in, go ahead and roll to one side and bend that left leg and tuck it in. And notice the knees stacking on top of each other and the feet coming out. And taking a breath here. We tend to hold a lot of stress and tension in our hips and in our jaw. And so for this side, we're going to actually massage the jaw, bringing our hands to the area right behind the ears and the jaw, and just gently massaging right there, a little bit of pressure. And then we're going to bring the hands down the chin and the side of the jaw. And then bringing the hands back to that pressure point by the ear. And then just gently rubbing the jaw, the side of the jaw. And gently rubbing back and forth. Bringing the fingers to either side of the ear. And trying to soften any muscles of the jaw. This also serves as a little bit of a distraction from the sensation of our hips. And then bringing the hands down and taking one more breath here in cow face pose. And then we'll lean back. We're going to unwind the legs and allow them to extend, and we'll shake the legs. We'll just do bending the knees and just do a little bit of a forward fold, releasing some of that tension in the hips. And then we're going to come up to seated, and we're going to move back into child's pose or downward facing dog. Your choice. If you want to come into child's pose, you can have the hips back and the arms out in front of you, or you can bring the hips up, the hands down, and I'm going to read a poem in this posture. We're going to push the hips back, and we're going to be here about a minute. So picking your posture, if you're in downward facing dog, making sure the middle fingers are facing towards the front of the mat. You can bend the knees as much as you like, opening the shoulders and breathing. And I'm going to come to my knees because I need my glasses to read this poem. So these are words of wisdom by Roderick of the Pongo Teen Writing Program. And this is his advice for life. Eat birthday cake every day because it will enhance your maturity. Dance like a zombie because it will make you look serious. Laugh as often as you can. Laughing a lot will make people think you know something. Talk with nothing in your mouth and listen with nothing in your ears. Be silent so you can learn from others. Being silent will help you catch your breath. First thing when you wake up, eat your breakfast, because you never know what might happen that day. Last thing before you go to sleep, think about someone you like, because it will make your dreams smile. In the winter of your life, make sure you are grateful. In the spring of your life, make sure you are adventurous. In the summer of your life, make sure you do your best. In the autumn of your life, make sure you take care of your friends. When it's raining outside, don't forget to look up once in a while. When you've had a bad day, you can always think about the time when you wrote a poem about how wise you are. So if you are in downward facing dog, maybe congratulate yourself for how long you held that posture, and then allow yourself to come down into child's pose and take a breath. Nicely done. And then rolling up to seated. And I'm gonna move myself a little bit off center at a diagonal, but you can sit however you like. We're gonna move in a butterfly pose. We're gonna bring our feet together, allow the knees to open up any amount, and this can be a nice wide opening. You don't wanna force the knees. We're doing it in a relaxed mode today. We're gonna sit upright, and then we're gonna allow the torso to move over towards the feet any amount. And during this practice, you've heard my advice for life, which is to slow down. And we've been able to incorporate that into our practice. You've heard the advice for life that in the poem I just read. And now we're going to be here for a few minutes with our breath and our forward fold. And I invite you to explore what advice you have for someone that's in a similar situation as you. What advice would you give a friend or a stranger that is in a similar situation? What wisdom do you have to offer them? And I know you have a lot of wisdom. Perhaps the wisdom is around how to care for themselves. Maybe it's about how to think differently. Maybe you have advice for how they can treat their friends and family. Maybe advice on how they can treat themselves. Maybe advice on how humor can be a part of their life. And just notice the breath and notice the wisdom that you have to offer someone else. Allowing the torso to gently relax and soften. Then I'm going to roll up to seated. We're going to bring the knees together, and we're going to recline on our back once again. Getting ready for our final posture. But before we move into our Shavasana, I'm going to invite you to bend the knees, having the feet on the ground, a little bit wider than hips distance apart. And then we'll allow the knees to drop over to the left. The shoulders will stay on the ground. Do a final spinal twist before we move into our final relaxation posture. And I like to think of the spinal twist like a sponge. We're wringing out our spine. And we may have some experiences or thoughts or emotions that we just want to wring out of our body. So as we twist our spine, we can let go of anything that's not serving us. One more breath. And then inhaling the knees to center. Taking a pause here. And then we'll exhale as we move the knees to the opposite direction, to the right. And on the inhalation, perhaps contemplating taking some of the advice that you gave to a friend or a loved one. Seeing how that sits in your heart and how that can apply to your life. And as you allow yourself to soften in the twist, letting go of what's no longer serving you. And then on the next inhalation, allowing the knees to come up to center. And then you can extend the legs for our final resting pose. You can bring the arms down to the side. The eyes can be open. The eyes can be closed. And feeling the sensation of the floor against the back of the body. Allowing yourself to soften. Allowing yourself to feel the support of the ground. Feeling the inhalation and the exhalation. Feeling a softening of the body. And knowing that you get to learn from your experience, and you get to transform that experience into wisdom. You get to apply that wisdom to your future life. And you get to create your own advice for your life and your own wisdom to guide you. And this practice was to help us slow down. Slowing down our body, slowing down our breath. Perhaps giving us the ability to reflect. And giving us the ability to make wise decisions. Knowing that you have everything you need within you, that you are enough. You are enough just as you are. And I'm going to end the practice and allow you to remain in your final resting pose, absorbing the benefits of the practice. Taking the time to rest and being quiet and slowing down. Thank you so much for practicing with the Art of Yoga Project YouTube channel. I appreciate you showing up and being present for the class. The light within me sees the light within you.